Research undertakings do not end with the presentation of completed paper in a research fora. It does not end either with the submission of the terminal report to the funding agencies. The research output has to be published in refereed journals, but the big question is how. Despite the COVID-19 pandemic, which turned everyone's lives upside down, the student and teacher researchers of universities are some of the most responding individuals, for they remained steadfast in their quest for knowledge and commitment to do innovative research and development activities. Hence, this electronically connected gathering, a meeting of research specialists with the aid officers and members, the international and local student and teacher researchers of the Cagayan State University at Sanchez Mira Graduate School, with the main goal of writing up research project results into journal papers. Good morning, Philippines, and good evening, USA. Welcome to the ProfDev, or Professional Development High Impact Series 1, a training sponsored by the Association of International Dynamic Educators Incorporated, headed by its CEO, Madam Lynn Chacon. This activity is co-sponsored by the Cagayan State University, Sanchez Mira Campus, headed by CEO Dr. Narcitas B. Owano, with the theme, Translating Academic Writing into Publishable Journal Article Training Workshop. At this point, we would like to acknowledge the following personalities or administrators of the aid present in this training. Let me start by acknowledging Ms. Lynn Chacon, the CEO and founder of AID Incorporated. Good morning, Ma'am Lynn. Dr. Mariden B. Cawilan, the Executive Vice President for Conferences of the AID and the Vice President for Academic Affairs of CSU. Good morning, Ma'am Den.
Morning, Dr. Alan and all.
To Dr. Narcitas B. Owano, the Executive Vice President for Professional Development of AID Incorporated and the CEO of CSU Sanchez Mira Campus. Good morning, Ma'am Babes. And of course, Dr. GENARO Tirador Hapos, the resource speaker and one of the members of the advisory board of AID Incorporated. Good morning, Sir Jean. May we give them our virtual applause. To begin, may we invoke the presence of the Lord Almighty through a doxology, and after which is the singing of the national anthem of the Philippines and of the USA through a VTR.
God what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight over the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? And the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
To deliver her opening remarks, may we lend our ears to the Vice President for Conferences of the Aid International and the VPAA of Cagayan State University, Dr. Mariden Ventura Cavilan. Ma'am.
Thank you very much, Dr. Alan. Good evening to our students and our fellow members of our Association of Dynamic Educators Incorporated in USA. Good evening, everyone. And of course, good morning to our participants, my colleagues in the Philippines. This is the first leg of our Professional Development High Impact Training Workshop under the initiatives, of course, of our AID Association, under the leadership of our CEO, Ms. Lynn Siocon, of course, with the able assistance of our CSU Sanchez Mira campus, headed by CEO, Madam Narcitas Owano, our graduate school dean, Dr. Rodel Alegado, our professors, Dr. Alan, Dr. Berlino, and all our very competent and active and supportive professors from CSU Sanchez Mira. Thank you for this opportunity to be together. Our theme in this morning's or in this night's activity, translating academic writings into publishable journal article training workshop, is a very timely theme. I understand especially that this is we shall be graduating the first batch of our graduate school students who come from the US and who are part of our graduate programs, particularly at CSU Sanchez Mira. We're just so glad to note that at the moment, in compliance with the CHED Memorandum Order number 15, series of 2019, we have decreased the number of units from 39 units now down to 33 for our master's programs. and from 60 to 42 for our PhD programs. Of course, let's not forget that one of the requirements for graduation under such system is a completion of research work, and it does not end there. There should be a publication in a referee journal. So tonight's training workshop is really very timely, and this is to capacitate our dear participants in writing research project results as journal papers. So we look forward to having students as authors and co-authors of publishable studies. We're just so thankful that we have our willing resource person in today's activity, and the person of Dr. GENARO V. JAPOS, a social science research specialist. Thank you very much, sir, for accepting our invitation to be our resource person in this first leg of our training workshop under AID. So at this point, of course, I'd like to wish our students, our participants, good luck, and especially for our students who will be taking the first batch of those who will take the comprehensive exam. I think it's on October 8 and 9. That's for our master's and our doctorate programs. So it's nice to be reunited with our graduate school students through this online activity. And we hope to graduate students not only as good researchers, but also as great leaders. And of course, we hope to graduate students and become the best versions of themselves, because CSU is committed to educate our students for the best. So thank you, everyone, and welcome to this activity. I heard it's going to be a quite long 3 or so hours together in this activity, and we look forward to having another activity come November 19 and 20 in the morning. The professional development team of AID, the members of the committee are really looking forward to the realization of that activity. So thank you, everyone. Good evening and good morning.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Den, for that very heartwarming remarks. Rina, we hope to have more trainings like this to capacitate faculty as well as students of the graduate school. Today's training workshop is participated in by the faculty of the Graduate School of the Cagayan State University Sanchez Mira. It's also participated in by the international and local master's and doctorate students enrolled in thesis or dissertation writing 1 and 2. In the virtual room are also some of the officers of GAID, or the Association of International Dynamic Educators. There were 72 who actually registered according to the Secretariat, but as of today, we are all 96 in the virtual room. This time, to formally welcome each one to this virtual ProfDev High Impact Series 1 training workshop, I give you the Executive Vice President for Professional Development of AID and our very hardworking CEO of CSU Sanchez Mira Campus, a research enthusiast herself, Dr. Narcitas Piado Owano. Ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Alan. Distinguished guest and resource speaker, Dr. Jean V. JAPOS, the Board of Directors, officers, and members of the AID Incorporated family, participants from CSU Sanchez Mira Graduate School, our very own students, the CSU Offshore Graduate School students, colleagues, friends, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed my great pleasure and honor to warmly welcome you today on this Prof Dev High Impact Series 1, a virtual training workshop initiated by CSU Sanchez Mira Campus through its graduate school and the Association of International Educators Incorporated, or A. I would like to extend a special welcome to our resource speaker, who is also one of the members of the advisory board of A, a renowned personality in the field of research, Dr. JAPOS. Thank you, Sir Jin, for accepting our invitation. I know that your schedule is always jam-packed, as you are the most sought-after lecturer. And we really appreciate that we were able to get a slice of your time today. For the information of this body, this August body, Dr. Jin and I go back to year 2014, when I was with him in Sydney, Australia at Marriott Hotel, where I presented my paper on climate change. You remember that, Dr. Jin?
Yes.
Thank you. And ever since we kept in contact with each other. We would say happy birthday, because we have not seen each other for, since 2014. But ladies and gentlemen, it is in this time that I would like to thank him publicly, like he was the one who trained my love for research. When my first paper was published and I presented in Marriott Hotel in Sydney, you know, the sleeping dragon, the sleeping thirst in me was quenched by this, and I continued to do researches and to publish some more because of Dr. JAPOS through his Yamure International. And so we are very honored to have him with us in our aid. He will be a lot of help to us. Thank you, Dr. Jin, once again. To everyone joining this activity today, your support and decision to invest your time and energy in attending this virtual training workshop must be applauded. So take a moment to give yourself a round of applause. And from the words of Desmond Tutu, I quote, "We are made for goodness, we are made to love, we are made for friendliness, we are made for togetherness. We are made for all of the beautiful things that you and I know. We are made to tell the world that there are no outsiders. All are welcome." Thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, One Babes, for that welcome remarks. This time, may I call in the woman behind this gathering of small and great minds, the visionary lady whose big heart is for the self-motivated educators, the brainchild and founder of the Association of International Dynamic Educators Incorporated, CEO Lynn Shokon, for the acknowledgement. Ma'am Lynn.
Thank you, Dr. Faculty and staff of CSU Sanchez Mira, Association of International Dynamic Educators Incorporated, officers and board of directors who are here, graduate and postgraduate students of CSU and other invited participants. Good to our guest speaker. Good morning and good evening, everyone. Jay says, knowledge is power and can help you overcome any fear of unexpected. When you learn, you gain more awareness through the process, and you know what pitfalls to look for as you get ready to transition to the next level. To our guest speaker today or this evening, Dr. JAPOS, thank you very much for graciously accepting our requests. We will make sure that this event will be well attended by the officers of Association International Dynamic Educators Incorporated, graduate and postgraduate students of CSU, and other invited participants. So majority will benefit from this professional development. I know well that attendance in this virtual professional development will gain understanding of the essentials and become competent in systematically converting thesis and dissertation into a publishable journal article. I would like to reiterate my heartfelt appreciation for accepting our invitation. I would like to say cheers to the CSU faculty and staff and the Association of the International Dynamic Educators Incorporated, the PD team headed by Dr. Wano and Dr. Rodel Aligado. Thank you for this another success. And shout out for everyone who are here. Thank you.
Thank you also, CEO Lynn Shokon. True enough, as Barry Long, a spiritual teacher and writer, once said, and I quote, "Acknowledgement is the only way to keep love alive." Moving on, may I give the virtual floor to Dr. Rodel Francisco T. Alegado, the Dean of CSU Sanchez Mira Graduate School and the Director of Professional Development of AID Incorporated, to present one of the research gurus of the country, the person behind the 1,000 publications of his established journal, E. Amure, or the founder of International Association of Multidisciplinary Research. To know more about our resource speaker, Dean Rodel, take it away.
Thank you very much, Dr. Alan. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and good evening. Our resource speaker is a regular member of the National Research Council of the Philippines, Division of Social Sciences. A finalist of Metrobank Search for Outstanding Teachers, he has conducted trainings and conferences in the Philippines and 20 other countries. He was Dean of Father Saturnino Urios University and Vice President and Director of Research at Liceo de Cagayan University. He has managed journals which were accredited by the Commission on Higher Education and indexed by Thomson Reuters, Cengage Gale, ProQuest, EBSCO-Host, and the Philippine Electronic Journals. He is a visiting professor of public and private universities. He is a published and cited author. He is the first entrepreneur who successfully organized conferences in Asia and the Pacific, serving clients in over 50 countries. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the first Filipino scholar to hold the distinction as holder of 5 doctoral degrees in education, management, human resource management, instructional systems, and organization development, Dr. GENARO Virador JAPOS.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rodel Francis Aligado, for the warm and gracious introduction. My morning greetings go to the lady of the house, Dr. Lynn Shokon and Dr. Narcitas Oano, my best friend forever. And also to Dr. Verbadu, who will be assisting me today, particularly in some of the slides. I will be using only few of them. And more importantly, to all of you who took the time out on this wonderful and sunny Sunday to be with me today as we journey together in crafting the future of your scientific career. And that one of those manifestations that you are a research scientist is that your name can be searchable in the major scientific databases, not only of the country, but of the world. So let's begin with an enrollment. I would like you to go to Google because I would like you to sign up first in the more important global databases where you can be members of global organizations. Okay, so please go to Google now. All right. There in Google, please type in orcid.org or sid.org. orcid.org. It is a green website. Are you there? And then look for the column on, there is a button there, a rectangular button, register. And click it. Register as an individual. There are two kinds of registrations there. Your university can register, or your being an individual researcher can register. Now, this ORCID membership is a global requirement when you publish and when you present papers in the international arena. They would like to have a proof that you are a member of a global organization of researchers, the largest in the world, and that is ORCID, Open Researcher ID, Open Researcher Contributor ID. So it operates like a bank, right? So when there is, for example, the Bank of America, and then you open an account, you are given a serial number to your account, and all the money that you deposit, you withdraw, then all your transactions are recorded. So therefore, the Bank of America is composed of probably millions of depositors. So all the money that you have forms part of the macro depository base of that bank. The same is true with ORCID. So whether you come from Azerbaijan or you come from Zimbabwe, you will be having a membership for this ORCID. So please sign up. Now, how do you know that you have already signed up? Because on the left side, there is already your ID, which is composed of 16 digits, formatted as https://orcid.org/ and then the 16-digit number. Okay. All right. It is very easy to sign up. Don't anymore fill up yet the biography, no, just the important information on the first page, which just takes about less than 50 seconds and you are done. Later on, you are going to fill up the other parts, which are asking you to give information on your track record. Now, if you apply for a federal grant in the US or a grant in Australia or UK, all that is needed for the grant authority is just to find your name in that particular website. Okay, so if you are done with that, please go to the reaction section and then give me a thumbs up if you have already been able to sign up. Now, what is the use of this? I understand that an educator of good reputation should possess what we call as a calling card. Now, your calling card should bear your, of course, your face, and then the logo of your university, the flag of your country, okay, and also the logo of ASEAN. The red one, that should be included, the small ones. And then you write your name, and then after that, your email, and after your email, your ORCID ID. So your ORCID ID becomes part of your identification. All right. So Sir Badu, are you able to finish yours?
Yes, sir. I already have my ORCID ID.
Okay, so 16 digits, right? Okay. So that you will not forget that, it's very easy to retrieve. Just go to ORCID again, and then search for your name, and then your ID comes out. All right? Okay. So for those of you who are deans today or directors of campuses, make it as a requirement that all faculty members and students should have already their registration with ORCID. Okay. The second one is Google Scholar Citations. But I would like to do a short demo here. Server Badu, can you show your screen? And then I will do a demo with you, and then the others will follow suit. The Google Scholar Citations, can you write that? Is a very important website because it will track down all that you have in terms of research. So please type in Google Scholar Citations. Citations CI. Yan. And then there. And then as you can see on screen, we will just click on the Google Scholar Citations. And then please write your name, sir. Okay. So you already have yours, right? All right.
Yes, sir.
Sino ang wala pa? Who has none yet? Because there is a problem here if you don't have a publication. Can we share the screen of a person who has no account yet? Server Badu, can you help me find a person na there was one who said na not yet. Okay, so sino yon?
Anyone is allowed to share the screen po.
Laila Rodolfa, not yet. Okay, can you share your screen, Laila? Laila Rodolfa. Okay, can you share your screen? Because it is a little bit tricky, especially if you don't have a publication. I'll show you the way to do. Okay. Who can? All right. Wala. How about Ma'am Lynn Shokon? Do you already have a Google Scholar Citations account, Ma'am Lynn? Nakamute po kayo. Okay pa. You are muted yet.
Okay. The one that you, Dr. Aligado sent to us, the form, or is it, what do you mean?
Have you signed up already with Google Scholar Citations so that you will be the one that I will do a demo on?
Yeah, I think so. Wait a minute.
Can you show your screen?
Yes. Hold on.
Now, what is needed here is the ID of your.
JAPOS, is this what you mean?
Please go.
So I'm not there yet.
Can you open a new tab?
Okay.
All right, open a new tab. And then type in Google Scholar Citations. Google Scholar Citations. You type in. For those of you who are listening to me, you can try it on. Okay. Meanwhile that we are preparing. Google Scholar Citations. You need to sign up an account there.
Do we have to get out to ORCID?
Yes.
Okay.
Get out of there and then you go to Google and then type in Google Scholar Citations. All right.
Is this what you mean, Dr.
Yes.
Hapos?
Please click the Google Scholar Citations.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the one. All right. So you already have your name there, your affiliation. You write in here your university and what is your role there.
Good.
Are you a professor?
No, I'm a student, Dr. Hapos.
Okay. So just put in there Cagayan State University. All right. Email for verification. Do you have an email that is institutional? Oh, because
Not yet.
This will not qualify. So we will just trick the system, ma'am, for a while. Okay.
Okay.
Can you just
stop sharing?
No. It's okay. I will instruct you how to do the system. Okay.
Okay.
Can you go back to your screen?
Areas of interest.
All right. Okay. Please listen here. For email verification, do not use Gmail. So please erase up to the Gmail only. Up to the Gmail only. Okay. Stop. Okay. And then CSU. Just write in there. csu.edu.ph. Even .edu.ph. We will just pretend we have that to trick the system. All right. Areas of interest. What is your field? No, the major field. Okay. So maybe you can just put in there educational management. Then remove the PhD. All right. And then homepage, www.csu.edu.ph. So even if this is not right, then we will just trick the system. And then you click next. All right. So I understand you have no publication yet here, so we will just borrow. The third article is by Mary Elizabeth Happ. You see that? Ma'am?
Right here.
Okay. And then just click the box. Yes.
Sir Jean, what shall be written in the homepage?
www.csu.edu.ph.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So the articles on the upper right is already blue. Click the arrow. Articles, then one, and then there's a blue arrow. Pakibalik po. Mali po yun. Pwede mo i-back siya. Back. Okay. Yan. There is a box that is blue on the upper right. Can you find it? Na may marka na article 1 sa screen mo. Articles and then 1 and then there is a box.
Oh, this one. Okay. This one.
Oh, no. You're done with that. Yung sa upper, bring the cursor to the top. There is a blue box. Yes, you click that. So, and then make my profile public. Make my profile public. Okay, click that. And then done. Done. So you're done. Okay. Now, you can click the camera. There is a figure and then you click on the camera. And then you retrieve a picture of yours in your database. Do you have any picture?
Oh, okay.
An image or something? Pictures, yes. That's the one. Just one of those pictures. Ito kaya. Then, open. Then it's there. Thank you. And since this one is only borrowed, not yours, can you click the box again? On the article box. No. Baba. Box before the yes. And then there is delete. Can you delete that? Can you click the delete above the title? There's
this delete.
Yes. Click that. Okay, so it's gone already.
Oh, wow.
Now, what is the purpose of that? Any author that you can find online, you can check on the veracity. Okay. For example, there is a search box on the upper right. Search box. Can you find the search icon on the upper right? Upper right. Extreme right. There is a figure of a person in the, yes, that's one. Click that. Okay. For example, and then for example, you write my name, GENARO JAPOS. So any author for that matter, GENARO. GENARO JAPOS. J is in jar. J is in jar. Jar. Not GAPOS.
Sorry.
JAPOS. It's okay.
Sorry.
And click the
And
search
then,
button. Yan. And then you will find me here. If you click my name, you will be able to see all that I have written.
oh,
And then on the right side are my, modest citations. That's the one. Okay. So that is why it is recognizable that every student, every teacher or researcher should have an account with Google Scholar Citations, because you will be able to find the expertise of the person based on this one. All right. So what can you say about your experience today, Dr. Lin?
it's awesome. I'm not yet a doctor.
Soon to be, you will be. Okay. Thank you so much. You can now stop sharing.
Thank you.
All right. So for those of you who are watching the demonstration, please do it. No?
Excuse me, Dr.
Yes,
Japos.
yes, po.
Is it okay to ask, because while Lynn was sharing her screen, I tried myself as well. However, I cannot find any article to click after clicking the next button.
Can you share
There's
your
like
screen?
0. Mm-hmm.
Okay, can you share your screen?
Sure.
Okay.
Hold on. If you can see my screen. So
click the next.
Can you see your screen? Oh, okay. So this is what I see.
All right, so no problem. Can you erase your name here?
This one right here?
And then we will just borrow from another person. For example, Gayle, Gayle.
That one?
Yes, and then Sala Lima. Sala Lima. Okay, then
correct?
search. Yes. Then we just borrow. And he has one article, just click that to click the system. Remember the arrow is already in blue. That's the one. Yeah, click that. And then click the make my profile public. Okay, and then done. And then next time you are going to delete that part and then delete. So you're done. And then click for the photo, the camera. And then, all right. Okay. Thank you. Did you get it? Oh, I love you. You must be based in the US because your accent is American.
No.
Really? Because I thought you are working in the United States. Okay. Thank you so much. So I think we are done with this. This is a very, very important part of our activity, because this signals that you are already a globally cataloged researcher. Okay. After this, yes, po.
Yes, I did not have an idea. I don't know how to do it.
Okay, can you show your screen?
Okay.
Please do. It just takes 30 seconds. All right. Show your screen.
See what is my screen? I couldn't see.
There is a green button there.
I saw it before, but I did not see now. Let me see.
That is at the bottom of your screen. There is a share screen. Okay. Or maybe we will just do it during the break, ma'am. So we will assist you.
All right, thank you.
Okay,
Yes.
so it's okay. Okay, now we will begin with the end in mind, and I'm happy to tell you that I was part of a team of academics in the Middle East under the Philippine Christian University Middle East degree program. And I don't know whether they continued with this style, but we created a design for a dissertation or a thesis in which all the component parts are already publications. All right. So instead of translating a finished thesis into, a publishable paper, the thesis itself is already composed of publishable paper. So let me just share you very briefly how this can be done. Server Badu, I sent to you an email of the study of Jeffrey Uy. Okay, please show that on screen. My suggestion is if you can reinvent the structuring of the thesis to be like this, so you will be taking the lead. Okay, for example, this one, Determinants of Career Change. This is a study. I was the advisor of this study. He was the first person to use the new format that we advocated in the Middle East. All right, then go to the next one. Okay, this one I'm going to give you a little annotation. Can you look at can you show the panel of examiners? Okay, yan. Okay, stop. Here, if you will notice, there is a guest panelist. Okay, now only Jennifer Gawan comes from Philippine Christian University, and Eduardo Malagapo. They're the only ones who come from the university. The other three are actually outside of the university. Amy Acosta is with Virginia College of Qatar. Alexander Acosta is with the Philippine School of Doha in Qatar. And Muhammad Kashif is an international scientist from international scientist from Pakistan. Okay. May I request that we mute the sound, okay, the noise. Okay. Paki-mute po ng noise. All right. Bakit kailangan ito? Because I'd like to appeal to you that in the dissertation or thesis panel, 2 or 3 should be outsiders so that we would no longer be able to be guilty of what we call as inbreeding. All right. So we are the ones who teach, and then we are the ones who advise, we're the ones who panel, so what else is new? So by subjecting our work to the scrutiny of international researchers is a very good undertaking. Okay, next please. All right, so stop. So you will see that this was done before the oral defense, meaning before the oral defense, all the publications already happened. So look at this. Paper 1 is already published, as you can see. All right, this is part of the dissertation, meaning the dissertation already produced 4 publications, then paper 2, and then we have paper 3, and then paper 4. If you will see, paper 4, exploratory and confirmatory factual analysis of the career change scale. My advisee was not able to find a questionnaire in the world, in the whole world on career change. So he created an instrument, and then we got a PhD in statistics to assist him for the confirmatory and then exploratory factor analysis. When you create a questionnaire and you undergo the rigors of validity procedures as well as reliability, that questionnaire can be published. So that is paper 4. All right. And the one that published the one that published this was Scopus. All right. So paper 3 is the literature review. Most schools have a separate section for I think it's a chapter 2 review of related literature, and then that is one chapter. Actually, in this case, that is already a publication. That review of related literature can be one article already. Okay, and then paper 2, determinants of career change of overseas Filipino professionals to the Middle East. This is the result. And then paper 1, okay, that is also part of the results. So 2 results paper, 1 RRL, and then 1 method, 1 questionnaire. See? All right. Now, if you scroll down further, okay, stop. Before the oral defense, he was required to present the 4 papers separately in various conferences and fora. So paper 1 was presented in February, paper 2 also in February, and then paper 3 in November, and then paper 4 right, also in February. So he was shopping for, these conferences. Why? Because when you present your paper in a conference, there are also judges and there are critics. And then these people will, polish your paper because they're going to critique your presentation. So that will help polish the paper prior to the oral defense. All right, next, please. Stop. Okay, this is called quality assurance. So we introduced the idea that before a study can be defended for proposal and final manuscript presentation, there is a need for experts to independently utilize their expertise and look at the appropriateness and precision of the different parts. And when found to be satisfactory, they are going to sign a declaration that this is right. So the one who wrote this certification is a PhD in statistics who graduated from the University of the Philippines, and she was the one who declared that the multiple regression and the exploratory factor analysis were done correctly, so that the panel would no longer bother about this part because there is already a statistician that said that is okay. All right. So next slide. Next page. Okay, stop. This is a certification that the study has been reviewed and passed the requirements for research ethics protocol. And the one that signed is the chair of the research ethics committee. So for Cagayan State University, there is a need for a functional research ethics committee that will be submitted to the Philippine Health Research Ethics Board in order to give accreditation that the university's ethics committee is already accredited. Okay. All right. So when somebody else tells, signs a certification that the ethics procedure is correct, so you are already standing on solid grounds. Next. Okay. This is the part in which the study, the paper needs to be sanitized, to be tested by softwares. So in that respect, we have 3 softwares here, 3 purposes. One is grammar. So our target for grammar is 90, the score of 90. Plagiarism, 10% or less. And then similarity, meaning copy-paste, 15% or less. So all the sections of the paper were tested. So instead of 90, we have 96, 95. So all of these are proofs that all of the parts of the manuscript pass the test for grammar, the test for plagiarism, and then the test for similarity or copy-paste. All right. All right. So can you scroll down? Okay. No, more. All right. So after this, we'll take a look at the table of contents here. Then chapter 1 is the usual thing. Every school has this. But then there is a situation in chapter 2. Okay, because in chapter 2, there is no more literature. Why? Because the literature is already the paper, meaning the chapter 2 is already a collection of all papers that are published and presented in conferences. So the paper 1, the paper 2, paper 3, and paper 4. All right. So, and then chapter 3, that is already the summary. Okay. Now the question is, Dr. Rapos, where is now the chapter on method? The chapter on method is present during the proposal, but in the final defense, it's already gone because the method is already subsumed under the methodology of each of the papers here cited. Because when you submit a paper for publication, the method section is part there. So there is no more general methodology in the final oral defense, only the paper publications. All right. So therefore, you have to have a situation where the in the final oral defense, the panel sits there. Okay, 3 are outsiders, all right, and then 2 are coming from the university, and then you have already scientists who declare that the statistics is correct, then the grammar is right, plagiarism, etc., and then that the ethics is correct, and then you have already 4 publications. So if you have 4 publications, it's like this. Before the oral defense final, each publication is normally reviewed by 3 people, by 3 reviewers. And since there are 4 articles here, so you have 12 reviewers from around the world already examining the manuscript. That's 12. Okay. Plus, since it was presented also in international conferences, if there could be a minimum of 3 judges in each of the concurrent session, you also have 12. So there are now 24 people who have seen the paper and have already given their inputs, 24 scientists, plus the editorial boards of the 4 papers. There are 5 editorial board members for every journal, times 4, that's 20. So plus all the other experts, 50 people have already calibrated, evaluated the paper prior to the oral defense. So during the oral defense, all these papers have already been published. So what else will the panel do? So after the oral defense, only a 10-minute interview, and then, the oral defense is finished. Why? Because you cannot puncture on the statistics. Are you a PhD in statistics? You cannot puncture on, the other parts because they have already been, published. So it is easy to defend because 50 people already have examined the paper before it is passed on for oral defense. All right, this is answering CMO number 15 series of 2019. Perfect, right? Okay, so can we scroll down? Because if you will try this, I will give you the guidance, conclusion, recommendation, and then the supplementary data are many here. And then can you scroll down more? Ayan. Okay, so I will give you this file for all of the students and all of the attendees today, so that you will know exactly how these things happen. Okay. Now, there is a portion here that I'd like you to see. Can you scroll down more? Okay, stop. Okay. Can you go back a little bit? Okay, stop. Okay. Before 187. Okay, research gate before 184. Appendix 134. Okay. Can you just click on that, because it goes to, if you click on 184 ba yun? Yeah, yes. Can you click on this? Usually it goes to, yes. All right. So if you will notice that the table of contents are actually links, hyperlinks, that when you click any part of the table of contents, it goes to the right page, right? So it transports you there. So I am happy to tell you that in this manner, I require the student to create an advocacy, a research advocacy component of the study, because your research, once completed, will assume a life entirely of its own, independent for yours. So even if, heaven forbid, you will die next week of COVID, but since you have done the study already, then the study will be read and will be cited even if you are already in purgatory. You see, your research has a life all of its own, independent from yours. So I asked him to create a Facebook page, and the title is Career Change for Overseas Filipinos, so that the discussions, the lectures that she would give, and then issues about career change would still continue, okay, even after the oral defense. Okay, then if you scroll down a little bit, all right, more research gate. So can you write research gate, because I would like you to sign up within today a research gate account. So research gate is a depository, meaning your thesis in the master's, your thesis in college, your thesis, your dissertation in the graduate school, okay, the books that you have authored, okay, you can upload that in the ResearchGate account. And once you upload something in the ResearchGate account, it automatically appears in Google Scholar because they have a shared database system. So I require Jeffrey to be a member of the ResearchGate. And so if you can see, his publications are already in ResearchGate because once you have a ResearchGate account, you are a member of a society of 200 million researchers worldwide. All right. Next, can you go down? Okay. Google Scholar account. This is the Google Scholar citations I taught you. So meron na siya. In fact, his studies have already been cited. Okay, scroll down. LinkedIn account. You need to have this because the LinkedIn account is intended for researchers, students, and scientists so that you will be able to link with the other, people across the world. Then can you scroll down? ORCID. So Jeffrey already has an ORCID number, the one that you did a while ago. Next, please. And then the National Research Council of the Philippines requires only a membership application requirement of 2 publications. Jeffrey has 4, so I asked him to file for a membership of the National Research Council of the Philippines. Okay, so imagine if the students who graduate from CSU will become members of the National Research Council of the Philippines upon their graduation. So many teachers even have retired and died without ever being a member of this august body of scholars. Then can you scroll down? Okay. All right. So this is a proof that the paper 2 is from Scopus. So if he is a faculty of CSU, then he is entitled to, I do not know, with 50,000 or 75,000 price if you have published in Scopus. So the 4 articles, only 2 were from Scopus because only 2 qualified, and then the other 2 were published in other international journals. Can you scroll down a little bit? Okay, yan. Okay, so that's the second Scopus, and then the third one, the curriculum vitae. All right. Now, I want to show this to you because there's a portion here that I'd like to tell you. After the education where he studied, all right, stop, scientific publications. So the CV of a graduate, a master's or PhD of CSU should already bear the publications. He actually has 5 because his MBA thesis was also published. So he has already 5. And then you will notice that he has co-authors. Okay, why? The advisor can be a co-author, the assistant can be co-author depending on the arrangement. All right. Then can you scroll down? Oral research presentations where the study were presented. And then scientific affiliations, Google Scholar, Academia.edu, LinkedIn, ResearchGate, Scopus ID, because I want every CSU student and faculty to obtain a Scopus ID. And then there, okay? All right. So I will no longer show you paper 1 and paper 2 and paper 10, paper 4, because I want this to be posted in the chat box, sir. Okay. All right. All right. Now, I'd like Server Badu to show us the research flow so that you will see the A to Z before we go into how to cut the thesis into a publication. I sent to you in your messenger for research flow. We're able to find it?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, please show that on screen. Okay. Now, the research flow that I have that I'm going to present to you is the A to Z of your research for thesis and dissertation so that you will know as a student where are you going. All right. Can we show the next slide? Okay. So, in thesis writing, the first step that you're going to do is identify a research topic. Okay, how to identify a research topic? Of course, you are going to consult the school, because it is a requirement that every graduate school should create some kind of a research agenda, a list of priority topics taken from the major subjects being offered, all right, which will be some kind of a guidepost for the student that he can choose any of those in the next semester where he is going to find his dissertation. Because the earlier the research topic being identified, the better, because you have to have time to build on the literature and, build on the instruments and a lot of things. So after you identify the research topic, the next thing that you're going to do is, of course, in the next slide, select the journal for content and method. Yes, you have to have a selection of journal. All right. So I think I'm going to give you a little input here. Server Badu. We will have the, the demonstration of this after I present the entire thing, no? Okay. Why do you need a journal after the research topic is identified? Because the standards of the journal and then the publications of that journal that are related to yours should already be integrated in your list of references. Kumbaga, if you want to go to heaven, then every day what you do is towards, becoming holy so that you can go to heaven. So if you write a dissertation, right after the topic, you already need to identify the journal so that you would know the culture of the journal, so that everything that you do from page 1 to the last will be in compliance with the requirements and culture of that journal. Next slide. And then you prepare a review of related literature. You prepare your RRL sources. You select your literature sources, and then you write the RRL, and then you defend the RRL. So I would like to propose to the faculty and the dean for a CSU graduate school that no student should be allowed to hand in or submit a proposal without having defended first the research review of the literature. So once a topic is identified, the next thing that the student does is to create a comprehensive review of the literature using a particular genre or style. There are styles of preparing RRL. One is, the summary type. We call that the literature review. Or the second one is called the systematic review. Or you can go into higher levels like meta-analysis or meta-synthesis. You must create your literature review for your particular topic and then defend that. Whether the panel is going to see whether you have enough theoretical, conceptual, evidence background about your topic from the scientific literature for you to merit being given the green light to proceed to the methodology. Because the RRL will provide you the guideposts as to what will be the direction of your study, from the title to the objectives, to the choice of variables, to the theory, Here, the RRL is very important. And then after that, when you pass the defense of the RRL, you will have to proceed to the publication of the RRL. So you have not presented your proposal yet, but you already have one publication. Because immediately after the defense, you can publish the article and present that in an international conference. So my students in the Middle East, they presented in the international conferences, even if they have not been through with a proposal defense, because they were just doing their RRL. Okay, next slide. Identification of the research site and stakeholders. Where are you going to conduct the study? Go there, talk with the head, and then introduce your topic already to that person, and then map out the research area, then find out who could be your possible respondents, get the names ahead of time, create pictures of the research site, and then who are the stakeholders? Stakeholders are the implementers. They can be the policy makers. They can be the program designers. They can be the regulatory bodies, or they could be the end beneficiaries or the recipients. Talk with them, right at this point, so that you will be able to get an extract from their experience whether the problem truly exists right there in their real lives. Next slide. And then you proceed with the local interviews and in expert interviews. If it is in the field of education, you interview some of the students, some of the faculties, and then some of the administrators. And then that's the local interviews. And then expert interviews. Okay, expert interviews are of two kinds. One, the scholarly expert, and then the second one is called the practitioner expert. For example, in the case of the teaching of mother tongue in grades 1, 2, and 3, right? So the practitioner expert is the teacher who handles mother tongue or first language classes. He should be consulted because how will the panel know? That is why when we had this particular study thrown to us as a research panel, so we said we do not know this because we did not teach in mother tongue. And so we need to get people who are involved. So the principal who supervises the mother tongue teacher is a practitioner expert. Plus, the scholarly experts are those who publish articles using mother tongue instruction. We need to interview them ahead of time. Next slide. And then identification of consultants. Okay. Now, if your research was completed with only your advisor and you, preparing the manuscript, then we are 95% certain that the research lacks good quality because the expertise of the advisor plus the expertise of the student do not add up to meeting the global requirements of what constitutes good research. For example, there are people now who do studies on blended learning, for example, because that is the trend now, blended learning. So who are those who publish in blended learning? You contact them because they are your consultant for content. And then if you do mixed methods, because today in the graduate school, the best kind of method is mixed, M-I-X-E-D, mixed methods. Okay, meaning if you only do quali, if you only do quanti, you belong to another era, a bygone era. Because today it's going to be mixed method. So you get a consultant for method. And then if you have statistics, you get a consultant for statistics. And then if the study has public policy content, get a consultant for public policy. If it's going to be published, get a consultant for publication to make sure that you will not be rejected. And then get a consultant for media advocacy for your research part. All right. Why do you need to work it out with consultants? Because they can give you expert opinion about what you should do better in your research. Next slide. Next slide, sir. Berbado. Okay. The methodology, of course, you write the method, you prepare the instruments, and then you publish the instrument. Okay. So for those of you who are teaching in the graduate school and for those of you who are about to write your thesis and dissertation, let me tell you this. You can borrow from other sources for the instruments, for the questionnaire, but do not borrow everything. There must be one variable that you are going to create your own questionnaire so that you will go through the rigors on a granular experience, cellular experience on how to write a questionnaire. Because when you become a PhD, then you are qualified to be a dean, to be an advisor, to be a panelist. If the student will ask you how to write a questionnaire, then you will answer nga. All right. So you should not be saved from that horror of going through research instrument construction. And then after that, you publish the questionnaire because that is your second publication. All right. And then after that, next slide. First defense of the research ethics, because there are two defenses. The first defense is prior to the oral defense for proposal, for you to be given a certificate of permit to collect data. Next slide. And then defense of the proposal. So imagine when you defend your proposal, many things have already happened. You have consulted with experts, you have been to the community, you have already asked for the permit of the administrator for the research site. Okay, because let me give you this one example. We had a proponent for a dissertation. She was working at the Valencia Water District. And then as a worker there, she thought that, she should do a study about her office. And then we approved the study. When she went back, only then did she realize that um, the board of directors have problems and issues with the general manager. So there are squabbles in management and they disapprove of the research. Why? Because it will only document the squabbles that they have, and they might all be in hot waters. So you should ask the permission prior to the oral defense. Because what happened to that person, to that lady, she had to defend again another proposal because the content is different. All right. So she had to go through the rigors and pay again. So in the defense of the proposal, so many things have already happened. So many experts have already been involved so that everything will be okay. Next slide. Surveying the research sites. Next. Data collection and analysis. All right. Oh, all right. Next, please. Validation with stakeholders. When you're able to accumulate your data already, okay, we are going to accumulate your data and transfer that into tables, charts, and pictures, whatever it may be, all right, graphs, okay. When you have this data, do not write yet the interpretation. You present that to the stakeholders and then ask them about their point of view. So what will the policymakers make sense out of your data? What will the implementers make sense out of your data? Why are your data like that? You ask the people who gave you the information. We call that ethnomethodology because researchers are not allowed to interpret the data, particularly in social science research, because they are not part of the study. They are writing about life stories of people and communities, their perceptions of their workplaces and how they interact with their workplaces. So you do not know them, okay? That is their life. So let them tell you what is their explanation, why the mean is low, the mean is high, why that is a problem, why that is excellent, and then in their experience, how will they explain it? Okay, that is important for data validation. And then after that, immediately in that session, then you ask them to, assist later in the preparation of the recommendations. Okay, next slide. Writing the full manuscript. Okay, all right. So we will skip that because that is a little detailed. Next slide. Application of technology tests, the ones that I told you at the beginning. Okay, next. Editing of the manuscript. Do not get editors because they are graduates of English courses, but rather because they are very good scientists or researchers and they have published in very good publications, so that they would know that your introduction is really what is a scientific introduction, that your conclusion is really a conclusion of a scientific paper and not just your impressions, all right? Because the English editors would not know about this. Anyway, you have Grammarly to assist you, but what is important is that you have a scientist to tell you that each part has been written adequately. Next slide. Peer review by reference authors and experts. Okay. When I teach dissertation writing and research methodology, I make sure that all the reference authors of the students as they write, okay. So immediately, when you see a nice article and you intend to cite that as part of your references, then you open up and look for the email. And once you find the email, I want you to write the person and then thank him for his article. And then you establish relations with that person. And then you promise to him that when you are done with the proposal, you will show it to him so that he can suggest some of his previous publications to be included in the paper. We call that the peer review by reference authors. Because it is criminal to include a string of authors in your list of references of bibliography, and yet you have only read them. You have not talked to them. So For example, part of my requirement to my student is that find a dissertation writer or a thesis writer from abroad who finished in the top 10 universities of the world. And then you try to arrange for an interview. Interview them about what triggered you to do this study, and then what were your difficulties that you encountered which you did not write, which you only kept to yourself. And then, all of these interviews will redound to knowing more about the reference authors and the external experts. Okay, next slide. Final defense of the research ethics. And then finally, after that is research conference presentations. Research conference presentations, meaning the different components of the study will now be presented in conferences for more critiquing and polishing by participants and judges. Next slide. Publication of results. All right. Then next. Okay. Research advocacy. So what does this mean? It is a requirement for every graduate student and faculty that you must have your own YouTube channel. So if you go to YouTube, you can find GENARO Virador JAPOS there. I have 2 accounts. Why? Because how you created your proposal, how you wrote, how you write your research review, how you validated your results to the stakeholders. These are important critical phases of research. Create a video documentary of this. That is why I said that when you prepare for oral defense for the proposal, it is not good to make just a speech. Make a documentary about what you did from identification of the title until the time that you are submitting the paper for defense date to the dean. What happened in between? You create a 10-minute video documentation that tells the story how you did it, and then put that in your personal website. And then during the oral defense, you show the 10-minute video. Because you see, nobody looks at you when you present during the proposal and the final manuscript. Why? Because they have already read the paper, so you are boring. But when you present a video, they were not there when you went to these places, when you talk to these people, and so they will be more interested to know about the story behind. So you put that there. And then in the final defense, you also create another 10-minute video, and then you put that in your YouTube channel. So we call that academic and scholarly vlogging. So academic and scholarly blogging as a skill is a necessity for every person in education. Because look at the YouTube now. Who are gracing the YouTube? All right. Oh, well, we have Ivana Alawi. She's beautiful, nice breast, lovely. But what ideas can we get from her to build this nation? Dunikla. All right. And then Alex Gonzaga. So they will just be doing pranks, and then how much they are going to get as views, millions. Where are the PhDs? They are useless people. You do not find PhDs telling the world about what people should learn from them. Where are the teachers? They are not in YouTube. All right. So that is why a part of the pedagogy I would like to suggest to you is that you require the students to transfer what they learn in your class into a video, so that they would no longer just be recipient of content, but rather as content creators. So students must be taught how to create content. All right. So I'll show you a sample of that a little later. Next slide. Okay. Now, what are other means for advocacy? All right. I am a consultant of St. Michael College of Caraga, a small college in Nasipit, Agusan del Norte. I suggested to them that once the proposal is done, they are going to go to the radio station. They own a radio station anyway. So even if you don't own a radio station, they should find a radio station and get a slot for 5 to 10 minutes interview just to answer 2 questions for the proposal. And then what are these 2 questions? Okay. What problem are you trying to solve? And how do you intend to solve the problem? So how do you intend to solve the problem? That is the methodology. Then they will just explain in 5 minutes how these things will be. So that the community outside of the school should know about the studies inside. And then when the study is finished, they will go back to the radio station and tell them about answers to 3 questions. What did you intend to discover? What did you discover? And how can society benefit from your discovery? And then when they go to the radio stations, they should speak using the local dialect, because the radio is intended for people who cannot afford Wi-Fi, English, and Filipino. This is a very, very important skill. This is a joke that I mean very well, that who else are the people who know about the study that you create? Only the student researcher, plus the advisor and the 5 members of the oral defense panel, and the one who takes the minutes. So there are only 8. If, for example, we put all the 8 in the van, and by virtue of an accident, the van fell into the ravine and all of the 8 people died, who else know about the study? No more. So I made a suggestion to the school that before they are going to defend, okay, they are going to, put in their YouTube channel what they intend to say, and then make sure that the YouTube content is shared to the timelines of the student, and then they are required to produce at least 100 likes, 50 shares, and 25 comments. So because you see in the college level, it is by group. So there are 3 to 5 people working. So they must produce together, 50 shares, 25 comments, and 100 likes. So even before that, they have defended, the whole community already knows. And not only the community, as far as Russia, as far as the US, everywhere. Because the goal of research is actually to cross-pollinate society, to educate the world at large. And then the defense of the final manuscript. Okay, after that, uploading the thesis to the thesis repository. Okay, why? Because the full study in digital format, from the cover up to the back cover, digital copy, should be uploaded in the thesis repository of the university, from college, master's, and PhD. Why? Because this thesis repository is available online. And because it is online, you can be searched from any part of the world. And the thesis and dissertation can be cited even if it is not published as an article, because you can cite an unpublished thesis as long as it is found in a thesis repository. See? All right. Otherwise, who else will go to the library to look at our thesis, right? So, a thesis repository. Next slide. And then next is when all of these things are done, then the dean will write a letter to the registrar. Okay, dear Madam Registrar, okay, I am presenting to you the title and bibliographic entries of Mr. Francisco Solomon, who is set to graduate PhD in Educational Management. Please enter the title and the bibliography of his publications in the last part of the transcript of records. Yan. So that when the student receives the transcript of records, the title of his study, and the bibliography of all his publications coming from that particular thesis or dissertation will be included. So don't you like that? Okay. Next slide. Ayan, yun. So before I will proceed, I'd like to have a 10-minute interaction with you. We will stop sharing, and I would like you to react to my presentation. All right. Did you like it? And then, is it feasible? Do you like the idea that, the publications and the title will be included in the transcript of records? Okay, so I would now open the floor for your engagement. Who will shoot the first bullet? Okay. Any reaction? From Mona Lisa Mendoza, she said, tedious process. Ma'am Mona Lisa, can you explain? Your reaction?
Yes, sir. It's
Yes,
very
please.
tricky because right now I'm realizing that this is not just done, in the Philippines, but globally. It's just that we are being made aware of this process just now. So I really appreciate you sharing with us all these things, Miss Doctor. And then because it really promotes, scholarly publication that will gain global accreditation. It's, like if your study is patented only to you, and then so far I'm experiencing information overload. All these information you're sharing, it's very beneficial in our professional endeavor as future future graduates of the doctorate program. Can we ask that you share the slide presentation with us,
Yes,
please, sir?
including the sample of the dissertation. I can even give you 3 dissertations. One is a sample of mixed method, okay, sequential explanatory, another example of a sequential exploratory, all right? Because things are impossible only when they exist only in the mind. But when you begin to see that other people are able to do it, and the study of Jeffrey Uy, the one that I showed you a while ago, was done only in 4 months. Yes, it was done only in 4 months. And as the advisor, I would even work at night because when it is nighttime in the Philippines, it is daytime in Abu Dhabi. And, it was done. Right. So it can be done. Thank you so much. Okay. Who else for the gender balance? Can we have a comment from Sir Rodel Francis Aligado? Sir?
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. Actually, we are including the title only in the transcript of records, but we are not including the bibliography because we don't know the process. Now, we learned from you that that would be a very big help to us in giving merits to the work of our writers, both in the master's and in the doctorate degrees. So thank you very much.
Because they
We are
graduate
learning.
as published researchers
Yes,
already.
yes. Thank you very much. We are learning a lot, especially that we will have the first batch of the international students who will be required to publish their papers,
Yes.
which is a requirement before graduation. So I thank Dr. Lin Shokon for initiating this, and of course for Ma'am Babes, because this will help them so much in the preparation, especially so that we are banking on this particular training so that we can guide them properly in their writing process. Thank you very much, Sir Jin.
And then the faculty will also be published authors because they will be, the faculty will be included as a co-author. Because advisors, statisticians, as long as they meet the requirements for co-authorship, they're the ones who help, then they will be able to publish their work. So I had I had 3 publications out of 4 from Jeffrey. And then in another student that I advised, I had 2. Another one, I had 1. So I was able to produce less than 10 publications in 1 season. And, those are global publications because I was the advisor. And so it doubled my efforts and my drive to help the student because I will be a recipient of the co-authorship. Because on my own, it's difficult for me to write my own study. Because you see, as I have my own work and it's difficult to go to the field. But here, the students are doing the field work. Because advising is writing a research, doing research using the student's hands. So the brain that directs is that of the advisor, but the one that does, actually, we use the hands of the student. That is the important mother and child relationship for the writing of a thesis. Okay. So any other reaction?
I have a reaction.
Yes, sir. Please.
Dr. Hapos, thank you po for this wonderful presentation. So I think one thing that my takeaway is that about the expert consultation, it is, and thank you for letting us know na it is, I forgot the word that you used na parang it is illegal or something, that you put them in the bibliography without even asking them or something like that, or citing them. I think
let me clarify on that one.
Please clarify.
Okay, you don't need to ask a permit from an author if it's already published. But remember, what you are reading is only very brief, 10 pages, 15 pages. The important issues about how it was written, including the questionnaire, you would not be able to see. That is why you need to contact the author. That is why it is illegal to publish if you do not include, and the editor does not require you to put in your email so that you can be contacted. Because the inside story is still so much. Even if you write a 200-page dissertation, that is not all that you actually did. You were able to do plenty of things, but you were not able to capture everything. So when my students were able to interview the authors of these publications, at first they told me, "Oh no, sir, it's impossible. The author is, a teacher from Harvard, and they will not have any time with me." Why? Because you said the Philippines is a third world country. Why do you cancel yourself out? Meaning, if they're going to fart, will it be, will the fart of these foreign authors be like the smell of perfume? No, it's still pungent like ours, diba? So they too will die, we too will die, they too will live, we too will live. So we should begin to think that at this part of human history, that we are second to no one, and we are first among equals. We have to understand that. And so I said that if you were the author coming from Harvard, and you have a person who comes from miles and miles away contacting you because he would like to learn from what you have written, will you give him a chance? Yes, sir. Then go. Okay, because I want you to submit to me printouts of the conversation for email, and then you record that in the Zoom, your conversation with this Harvard professor, and then the rest follows. All right. I have a little file about that. I will show that a little while in a short while. Ayan.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Because for me, that's a very great advice. Kasi po, at least when it may be a time-consuming thing to do, to be honest po, but it will also help you with your defense, especially when you said that it's good that a lot of people can see your dissertation, so that. And thank you for telling us then also to be vulnerable, because of getting those critiques from other people will make us better when it comes to the defense. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I like the way you express yourself. You're a global ambassador. Thank you. Okay. So with that, I would like to ask Sir Verbadu to show us a sample of what my student did for content creation. It only takes about 3 minutes. The one that I sent to you in Messenger, Sir Verbadu. This is about my student in the doctoral program contacting an author coming from Harvard.
Is it the YouTube?
Yes, po. The one from YouTube.
Hello, friends and fellow researchers. Today, I want to show you how Dr. Hapos opened a wider horizon in the process of writing our dissertation. Through his seminar in dissertation, I started a correspondence with the authors of my references, and one of them is a Harvard University Graduate School author, Dr. Geoff Marietta. It may be insignificant to other people, but for me, this is one of the splendid milestones as a researcher. And you can do it too. Let me show you the snippet of the email. When I first emailed him, he responded on the same day. Isn't it amazing? He is thanking me for appreciating his study and citing his dissertation. He didn't wish me good luck on my research. Actually, Dr. Hapos taught us the verbatim of this email, and I would like to share it to you so you can have the same experience. The message doesn't need to be long, but we can keep it short and simple. First, it is important to properly write the subject line. It has to be like this. Make sure to write as I did in the subject line. Put the complete title of their study so they will have an idea right away when your email appears on their inbox. So this is the content of the email. Let me read. Dear Dr. Job Marietta, thank you for your article entitled Leadership and Collaboration in Complex Organizations, Principals' Interactions with Central Office in Two Large School Districts. I find this very useful in my current research and I wish to cite you in my study. I shall let you know of the results coming from the Republic of the Philippines. Thank you and God bless. Very respectfully yours. You can write your name and the name of your school. Now you might ask, how did I find him? Well, my professor instructed us to search on the dissertations of the top 10 universities in the world. And it brought me to Dash because I chose Harvard University. Now, Dash is the digital access to scholarship at Harvard. It's very easy to find actually. So this is the website. This is central and open access repository of research by members of the Harvard community. So we can just type keywords of our research here and it will give us many results from the Harvard online library. Actually, deposited works received persistent URLs are comprehensively indexed by search engines, including Google and Google Scholar. So this is how I found Dr. Marietta's study. I just click on the title and it shows his published article. Now, this is his published article. This is his citation on top and followed by the abstract. If you want to see the entire information of the author, you may click the metadata portion. If you click that, you will be redirected to another website. This is what you can see. I found his credential here, such as his school, Harvard Graduate School of Education. He belongs to the School of Education in Harvard University. And also, he is a doctor of education, his specialization, and also his personal email address. And here's the catch. Actually, if you want to see his entire study, the PDF format of his dissertation, click View or Open here. There you go, Dash Harvard Library. It's very, very useful. The Harvard community has made this article openly available to researchers like us. We are invited to share the benefits of accessing their online library. So you can also click the citable link below or here. And actually this is like 150 or 151 pages, like the entire work of Dr. Marietta. So let's take a peek of his study. Oh, this was published in 2015. Not very long. I want to see his theoretical framework. Okay, so I want to click on that and it automatically brings us to that portion. Actually, I also made some correspondence to the authors of the latest study, The Impact of COVID-19 Pandemic on Corporate Social Responsibility and Marketing Philosophy, a very nice study. This is written by Dr. Hong-Wee Hee and Dr. Lloyd Harris. If you click the name, you can see here Dr. Hong-Wee Hee. Okay, let me click again. Dr. Hong-Wee Hee is from the University of Manchester in the UK. You can see his email address below. So this is how I started my communication with him. And if we click the next author, the other author is Dr. Lloyd Harris. He's a professor of Birmingham University with marketing PhD at Cardiff University and Warwick University in the UK near Leamington. So this is the reply of Dr. Harris. It goes like this. Dear Miss Pia, thank you for your email. Due to the ongoing coronavirus crisis, we have been advised to work from home. Unfortunately, this will mean that I will only be able to read emails sporadically at best. My apologies if this delays my response to you and cause any inconveniences. Should you have urgent inquiries, you should contact the university directly. And the reply of Dr. He said that, Dear Pia, I am taking my annual leave from July 24. I will return to work on the 5th of August 2020. So this is the experience of my correspondence with the authors of my references. So thank you for watching. You can experience this one too. So I have provided the link below for your easy access if you want to visit the Harvard Online Library. Thank you so much and good luck. God bless. Stay safe. Bye.
Okay, so we stop sharing, and then I'd like to get one reaction or one or two reactions to this, requiring students to create a content of what they actually do. This is advisable. Why? Like today, if you listen to me, then you understand. How about tomorrow? Maybe some of them, some of the things you would know today, you would no longer remember tomorrow. After 1 month, after 1 semester, after 1 year. But right now, tonight, if what you are learning from me, you create a YouTube content for that, even after 20 years, you will still be able to access the same level of thought, the same level of freshness that you were able to learn. Okay, so training our students to be content creators of knowledge and not just mere consumers. Okay, any reaction to that? Is it impossible to get replies from
Excellent,
Harvard?
Dr. That's excellent way. And I'm really challenged. So I'm not with CSU, but because of AID, I'm here with you tonight. And I have heard a lot of the new requirements by the chat. And they are telling us about all this you are now talking about. So thank you for the heads up. I would be very happy to be working with you, Dr. Hapos. And thank you, AID, for inviting me here.
Okay, salamat po. So now at this point in time, I would like to show you something that I prepared in my consulting work, so that what I will show you now is how are you going to assess what you are able to do each step of the way. Because you see, most schools would only rely on their panel of experts. Okay, so I created a quality assurance measurement in which the student himself or herself will be shown the standards and the rating scales. And then from the standards, he is going to know what he did not comply and what he complied, so that he will be able to improve in his work. And then after that, his teacher will use the same tool to check on the student. And then after that, the panel also uses the same tool. So the rating scale evaluation tool of the research panel and the advisor will be the same with the student, so that all throughout, then the same measures of assessment. Because the idea now is to transfer quality assurance on the hand of the producer of knowledge. So the researcher should be the one to analyze first whether he is able to meet the requirements, and then going upwards. And then I designed the quality assurance system in which the standards are slanted towards measuring the publishability of every step of the way. Okay, so Sir Verbadu, can you show us on screen the SMCC research policy? Because I want to show you what is the form that you should fill up. What are the things that you need to do when you present a title, even for consideration? Okay, sir. I sent you the SMCC research policy. Okay. Yes po. Okay. And then can you go to page this one, page 30. Can you go to the table of contents and just click research title justification form? That will direct you to page 30. research title justification form. Okay, can you scroll down more? Page 30. Stop. Page 30. Research title justification form. That doesn't click because mine is clicking. Okay, yan. All right. Sige. Where is it? Page 30. 30. Yeah, before that. Here. Okay. So please, everyone focus on screen. When you create a possible research title, you need to fill up a form. You can adapt this form. I am giving this to you, no? So you put in there a research title, and then after that, number 2, narrate the results of the stakeholders' interviews to support existence of the problem for research. So even in the title stage, you would already be talking to stakeholders. Because it's difficult to create a proposal and you have not even talked to a single human being who is affected by your problem, right? So what happened in the results? Oh, where are we? Okay. Can we go back to that? Page 30. Yan. Third, please stay put. Number 3, briefly cite authors and their statements to support your problem, which are your compelling reasons for the study. What did the author say about your problem? Is it really valid? Is it being felt? Is it a priority? What did the author say? So now in number 2, what do your stakeholders have to say? Number 3, what do your authors have to say? See? And then number 4, discuss how the problem can be solved based on the literature. And then what are your sources? And then number 6, all right, mention the subjects or topics in your major field where your proposed title belongs. You should not do a study that cannot fall into any or combination of the major subjects that you have taken, because your dissertation or thesis should spring from your academic program and not come from elsewhere. All right. So number 7, we will see. Okay, so that is the starting point, and then the panel deliberates whether the title is okay, and then if it is okay, and then you proceed with the what we call as what is that, preparation of the RRL. Okay, can you scroll down more? Okay, more. More. Okay, more. Okay, stop. Okay, here is the literature review assessment form. So when you do your, can you show us the title here? The title is Literature Review and Hypothesis Development Assessment Form. So this will be answered by you, the thesis writer. And then after that, you submit your paper, your literature to your advisor. And then the advisor looks at this assessment form and checks it, answers yes or no. And if you have complied in most, and so he gives you a go signal, okay, now you can present that for your defense. And the panel will also evaluate the RRL based on this same instrument. So the same instrument for the student, for the advisor, and for the research panel. And so how do you evaluate whether your RRL is correct? Okay. Does your title accurately reflect the review nature of the paper? Because a title of a research review should have this: colon, a research review, colon, a systematic review, colon, a meta-analysis, so that the title itself will identify what kind of research review is that, what genre. Number 2, does the abstract present an accurate synopsis of the review paper? Is the introduction appropriate? Is the literature relevant and comprehensive? Are the objectives clear and specific? Is there an identification of the type of literature review? Is the design of the study consistent with aims and scope? And then is there a definition of the gaps in the literature? Are there leads into future studies emanating from the literature gap? So if these are the gaps of knowledge, so what does the RRL show you? What are the next possible studies that should emanate from here? And then, is there analysis of limitations and errors of methods, analysis, and interpretation of studies being reviewed? Is there a visual illustration of the finding to synthesize the review? And then can you scroll down? Is there evidence from the literature to support the hypothesis? So if you have 3 hypotheses, do you have evidence from the literature to support that? That's what we found in the RRL. Are the hypotheses focusing on causality? Do the conclusions accurately reflect the objectives and results of the study? Is the literature cited of high standard, indicating online traceable and reputable databases? Is the paper complying with the requirements of scientific publication? All right. So after that, what are the commentary? And then look at the judgment. Accept without revision. Accept after minor revisions. And then accept after a major revision is suggested, rejected for publication. So the way you are going to be evaluated is according to publishability. So this is for the RRL. Now, the next one, please scroll down. I'm going to show you your rating scale for proposal. So when you submit your proposal, can you scroll down more? Hanapin natin yun. Okay. All right. More. Proposal. More. Stop. Okay. Can you show us the title? Final Proposal Assessment Form. All right. So number 1, when you write a proposal, is there evidence that the study intends to solve a problem as supported by the stakeholders' testimony? So the introduction must show the intertwining of the experiences of the stakeholders. For example, in the interview with the stakeholders, they said that the water crisis in this locality has been in existence for the past 20 years, so things like that. There is a discussion in the introduction on the gap of the literature as the basis for the research. If Venus was born from the foams of the sea, then a thesis or dissertation shall be born from the gap in the literature. The scientific authors cited in the text are listed in the reference section. The objectives of the study are clear and specific. Scientific evidence supports the hypothesis development. The research design is specified and discussed. The population and sample are accurate. The instruments have reliability and validity procedures. There is a compliance to research ethics protocol. The study is expected to generate new knowledge in the discipline. The study used quality assurance procedures such as technology tests and editing. The digital, audio, video presentation is concise and well done. Meaning your proposal presentation should not be a blah blah of the mouth, but largely a video presentation, because that is already a content that can be shared and people can learn from. So when I teach dissertation writing in a particular school, I will just ask them to look at the files that my students have uploaded and how they wrote their thesis, and they would know exactly what to do next. Okay, so the audio video is important. Data quantification and qualifications are clear. The research process has clear timeline as shown in a Gantt chart. So when you write a proposal, when is this going to start? When is this going to end? And what are the stages? Then you need to do that. And then the budget plan is reasonable and affordable, meaning when should you pay the advisor, when you should pay the editor, when you should pay the panel, when you should pay the statistician, all right, when you should pay for the journal. All of these are already calendared so that you would not be able to pay them all at once, but rather schedule resources such that by the time that they are needed, it's there already. So accept without revisions, accept after minor revisions, and things like this. Okay. Now in the next one, when you are done with it, okay, can we locate the, can you scroll down? The requirement for final defense, final manuscript assessment form. So, okay, this is the one that will be answered prior to the oral defense of the final manuscript. Okay, so here, these are the parameters. The digital audio presentation, this is the second one already because the first audio was done during the proposal. This is for the final. The digital audio video captured the substance of the study. The title accurately reflects the most important result. The abstract presents an accurate synopsis of the research. The approved research ethics protocol was followed because you already have the second certificate. The stakeholders validated the data. Scientific literature supported the findings. And there is evidence that scientific literature and stakeholders' views support the recommendations. Okay? There is an analysis of limitations and errors of the methods, an interpretation of data. The study generated new knowledge in the discipline. There are leads to future studies emanating from the current results, meaning recommendations of further study. The conclusion captures the results of hypothesis tests. The conclusions validated the theory used. There is evidence the paper complied with the standards of quality assurance. There is evidence every researcher has significant involvement in and contribution to the study. The researchers know their manuscript very well. And the paper has good potential to be cited by other scholars. So this is the final thing here. Okay, so we'll stop sharing and I'd like to get the reactions from you. All right. Do you like the idea that from the title to the RRL, to the proposal, to the final, there is a set of rating instruments that the student will have to see whether he has followed, and for the advisor as a guide in looking at where the student has complied or not complied, and for the panel to see, and all of this from the perspective of publishability. Okay, so I would like to hear from you your reactions to this. Because without these instruments, you would not know whether what you're doing is right. If you have these requirements, then you would know that these are the things that you need to do. And for teachers of research on methodology and teachers of thesis writing, this file, the policy that I created for a school is very helpful. Okay, so Sir Verbadu, can we get some reactions from our audience today? How about Ma'am Eva Comia? Yes.
Good evening, Dr. Japos.
Yes.
Good evening here in the US because I'm in Maryland. And I do appreciate this workshop that you're giving us. Definitely it adheres to a very high standard from what you were trying to give us, that quality assurance, those rating scales. And believe it or not, I myself was like, I'm amazed, but I'm also like a little bit nervous that it is a tedious work process as a first timer to do the dissertation thesis, entering at CSU. And another thing is that I have to ask you one question. Is there a limit for the review of RLL authors and stuff like that for a dissertation?
There is no limit because the limit will be set by the discernment of the writer in terms of whether he was able to get enough of what he wanted. Right? So just like when you go to a department store, nobody should be able to tell you, you should be able to buy this much, but you only have a basket and you have your priorities. So if you feel that you have bought enough for your supplies for the week and then you go home. So it's like that. There is no, of course, what I usually set as standard is the number of articles that needs to be read, not necessarily being used. Because there are so many things we read and learn which we cannot cite in every page. Okay, so for PhD students, normally it's going to be 1,000 or more sources to be read. All right, for masters, it's usually about 750. And then for college, it's usually about 500. And for senior high, about 300 to 400. Number of things that you need to read about, small or large, in order to create some kind of a matrix in the head that, you can predict what you want to, to happen because these things are already in the head. And you cannot do that in 1 week. That is why it is very important that, what kind of title you are going to pursue would already be identified when you enroll in the first year. Okay, or in the, within the first year, so that you have another year to finish all the readings and you have to contact all these experts. I even sent to Sir Verbado to be relayed to you the curriculum vitae of Dr. Ivy Corazon Mangayaay, who graduated from PhD in statistics, because when you need to look for somebody whom are you going to go? So this person is a scholar ng bayan from UP and is willing to help. And then, so ganyan, you just need to ask about how to compute the sample. Then she will tell you, and then off you go on your own. Because sometimes when you have the right people and then you ask and you get the right answers, it's easy to do along the way. Okay. Now, offhand, when you look at all these things I'm presenting, it appears to be very, very complex, but actually necessary, because your mind would now try to extend the limits of what it can contain, because you know that, oh, it's so good that these are the, the expected standards. Now that I know, then the magic begins, right? Because our some kind of insecurity and our fear emanates from the fact that so much is expected and we don't know what are these expectations. But when you are given a checklist of expectations and all you need to do is just follow the bridge, and then you can get on the other side of the island, so it's easier. Okay. Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
All right. So do we have another reaction?
Ma'am Zenny Flores is raising her hand.
Yes, ma'am. Opo.
Good morning po, Dr. Japos. I have a question. Like what I have seen today, this is really the most informative, the most comprehensive research, research writing that I had ever seen. My question is, were all the steps that you were able to present to us today, were they already adopted by CSU, or are we going to modify it? Is it like everything has to be, like adopted by CSU? Or would there be some modification?
I think the adaptation is, it's a separate matter, because each school is bound by its own policy. And when CSU intends to, alter some of the policies, it has to seek the approval of the Board of Regents. Okay, but the point is that on our own, as an individual, this can be helpful. Whatever are the policies and standards of CSU, this could be a supplemental point, because the point of view here is more on the student. Now, when I submit my proposal, I know already what are the things that I need to do, and then I submit it to them. Okay, so this is actually supplemental to what the university has. And if the university intends to adapt, some of these concepts that I'm presenting to you, then by any means, yes, that would be very, very good, because the policies that I was able to, create is meant to be shared and adapted by, other institutions as well. Okay. Because in my consulting work, I've been a consultant in the last 20 years. The question is always that, what is the way to get there? We know we should get there. What is the way to get there? And the way to get there usually is not given. And if you don't know the way, but you want to get there, that is the source of your insecurity and confusion. But when you have the bridge to cross, it's easier. All right. And for aid to be of service, then, there can be other supplemental activities later on. Because one of my discovery is that there are certain skills that you need to acquire only at particular stages. Like, for example, how to analyze the data when you are not yet there, and then don't, because you will only forget it. But when you have the questionnaires already, what are you going to do with the questionnaires? How am I going to transfer the data to my laptop, to my SPSS? And that is your need. And then if you are taught at that moment, then it's very easy for you to do it. But if you are taught how to analyze the data, how to process the data, and you are still in the proposal, then it will not make sense to you. All right? So pag tayo ay nauubo, saka na tayo mapupunta doon sa pulmonary. O yun. Okay. Thank you so much, Ma'am. I love you for your comment, Ma'am Zenny. Okay. And my prayer for you there in the US. All right. John Francis Parao. Yes, sir.
Good morning, Doctor.
Yes, good morning. I love you.
Actually, I am in the Philippines now. I've attended different research presentations wherein I paid around 4,000 to 5,000 Philippine peso. With that, I was able to present different researches. Unfortunately, I'm not aware that right after presenting the research, the full-blown researches, that will just be placed within a book of abstracts. Unfortunately, those researchers were not published. Now, with your topic, sir, please help me to publish my full-blown researches. And at the same time, I want to commend your lecture for this morning, sir. This is because we have to comply with the principles of a full-blown research, and there should be quality. We would not like to produce researchers just for compliance of the requirements, just to earn the degree, but we would like to create researchers that have quality. That's it.
Quality that our people can make use of.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Because if there is high level of quality and nobody uses that, all right?
Yeah.
All right. So, aanhin ang kagwapuhan ng tao kung wala namang makrush. Ayan. Okay. Thank you so much. I love you for your comment. Thank you, Sir Francis. If you have all those studies in the past, it's very easy to publish them. You just need to update some of your sources. I will teach you today anyway how to deal with that. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay. So at this point in time, I'd like Sir Berbadu to show us the screen so that I can show you. This is the workshop part, because you should not only be listening to me. Your fingers should have more information than your ears, because the fingers actually are able to retain so much memory than our ears. No? Okay, so we will see. We will go to Google. All right, so here on the screen, okay, this is it. All right, where to find the books that you need. The books that are expensive in dollars, but you cannot afford. Okay, so I would like you to write in here, type in here, Library Genesis. Okay, and then you click the Library Genesis. Okay, because the first thing that I want to give you now is where to find, this is not the one, paki-back. All right, can you scroll down more? Okay. Okay. Yung isa sa itaas. Yun. I-try mga yan. It's a red. Ito. This is the one. Okay. Please get your cell phone now and then take a photo of this website. Picturean ninyo. Para, kasi one problem with the Zoom is that, you know, you're able to see a lot of information. After that, what is it? Okay, so please take a photo of that one. And then here, I'd like you to look at the search in. Can you show the cursor? Search in, and then there are little holes there. There are little circles. The first one is for the books. If you're looking for books, you click that. Okay. That's for the book. If you're looking for journal articles, you click on the other side. All right. If you're looking for novels, you click on the fiction. If you're looking for newspapers, you click on the standards. All right. So I will give you the book that I want you to know, because it is written by a guru of mixed methods. So can you type in here, research designs, colon, quantitative, comma, qualitative, and mixed methods, comma. So in this book, you are taught quantity, you are taught quality, you are taught mixed methods. So don't you like that? And so when you search for this, just click the search. Okay. Now, if you have your cell phone, please record if you can hear, you know, me write, so that I can tell you exactly how these things can be done. Okay, so this is not the file I wanted. Pwede mo siyang i-back and then paki-change ng Creswell. Okay. CRES, only one S. Creswell. Okay, then search. Very good. Okay, so here are the works of Creswell. So we will see John Creswell. Research methodologies and the doctoral process. This is very good. And then, can we look for it more? Creswell. Yung tatlo siya. So, yun na lang siguro for the moment para makademo ako sa inyo. Okay. So, can we find one Creswell book here? John Creswell. O yan. So, if you click the example lang, if you click this title, click this. Okay, you will find it here. Magkaiba yata ito. All right. And then, you click the library Genesis here at the bottom. Yan. Okay. And then you click the get. You click the get. Get. Okay. And then you will be able to get the paper. The book. Okay. So, matagal-tagal pa siya. But anyway, that is the step. Okay. Can we go back to library Genesis? Di pa. Back. Di pa. Di pa. All right. Now back. Okay. So, that is it. And then sample of scientific articles. Can we go to the sample of scientific articles? You click this. The second one. Okay, click that. And then let's type blended learning, for example. Blended learning, and then search. Okay, does it work? Okay, ayan. All right, so for example, this one, number 2, effectiveness and experiences of blended learning. You just go to the right side. There is a live Sci-Hub. Okay, you click that, and you will be able to get. This page is not working. Pwede mo siya i-back. Okay, and then doon tayo sa LibGen. All right, and then if you click this as get, then you will be able to download that. Now you will just do that on your own. Okay, so I'll stop sharing so that you can find the website for Library Genesis. Okay. So since our time is limited, just put in there Library Genesis, where you can find the world's top articles for free. All the contents of Library Genesis are for sale, but because this is a paywall scaling website, then you will be able to access that. Okay. Next, server Badu, can we go to Google Scholar, please? There are important things that I'd like to share to you for your skills. Okay. Here, go to Google Scholar. Okay. And then, all right. Here, we are going to, pwede gawin mo ito English. Paano ito maiging English? Setting should be in English. Yun. Okay. Thank you. Okay, here. Suppose your study is a blended learning. Okay. And then you are going to click it. Okay. So these are 1,130,000. So this is the difficulty because in your lifetime, you cannot read probably the 1,130,000 articles. But anyway, I would like you to focus on the bottom in which blended learning system, there is a star. Can you look at the star? Okay. If you click on the star and your Gmail is open, so you are marking this and then click the next star. Next star sa baba. Down. Okay. Can you click 3? Okay. So this is saved to the library. So on the upper right, there is my library. Okay. And when you click that, all of those that you have starred are already part of your collection in your library. And anywhere in the world, you will be able to find it. Do you like it? Okay. So back. Okay. So this is it, right? So if you click on the double quotation marks, okay, what will you get? These are the referencing format. So if your school is prescribing APA, so you just have to copy that. That is the reference. That is the bibliography for that particular article. All right? Okay. Then we put an X here and then cited by, which means that this article has appeared in 3,502 journals. So the more that they are cited, the better is the quality of the article. If you click that, all of the 3,000 articles you can access and read. Oh, no. Di maloka ka, di ba? Ganda. Okay, back natin siya. And then there is also a point here, related articles. If you click that, similar sources about blended learning. Okay, then we go back and then all 9 versions, which means that this article is present in 9 websites. So when you click that, okay, same article, but different publishing houses. So when a source is available in more websites, then that is a better article because you see other websites are interested to get it. That is it. Okay. Now I'm back. Okay. Now, when you eat food, your first step is to wash your hand, right? Washing of the hands and then drying it. That is the first step in eating food. When you do research, the first step is to read the research review. So again, blended learning. And then research review. And then please write now research review. Okay, click. All right. So you will know that this is a research review because this is current research review, a critical review, a review of research on online and blended learning. All right. So you should be able to read. In fact, the expected output is in the proposal, half of your sources should be research reviews of your major variables. Okay. So a review, a review, a review. Okay. That's it. Because our time is limited, so we will go to the next one. Then please replace research to literature. Blended learning, literature review, and then search. So now, by changing one word, you have here a systematic review of the literature, literature review. All right? That's the second. The first one was research review. Second one is literature review. The third one is systematic review. Okay, systematic review. If you cannot find review articles in one thesis or dissertation, the writer of that is ignorant. You have to remember that. Okay, so what will you say to a person who eats and doesn't wash his hands? Is ignorant. So that ignorance is removed today. Okay, so this is a systematic review. All right, next is meta-analysis. Please replace it with meta-analysis. All right. Then search. A meta-analysis of the empirical literature, a meta-analysis. You should also be able to read that. There are 70,400 of that. All right. The another one is meta-synthesis. Meta-synthesis. Okay. So here, what is the difference between a meta-analysis and a meta-synthesis? If you are doing a quantitative study, all your sources must also be quantitative. If you're doing a qualitative study, all your sources should also be qualitative. Okay, so a meta-synthesis is actually, a meta-synthesis is actually a literature review in which all your sources are qualitative studies. That is it. Okay, yon. So, I'd like to stop for a while, and in 2 minutes, I would like you to do the search yourself. Okay, but Sir Verbado, you can just stay here. But I want my audience today to use their screen and then search blended learning, research review search, then literature review search, and then systematic review search, and then meta-analysis search, meta-synthesis search. Okay. 2 minutes. You don't have to read. Importante makita mo sa mga titles nila. Two minutes. Explore. Okay, so now, for a while, magsaksak muna ako ng kuryente dito. Okay. Let me tell you this. Okay. So can you remove meta-synthesis? Okay. Please remove that. Ito, think of a tree on the first year it is born. The tree on the first year it is born has 1 annual ring. After 2 years, 2. After 50 years, 50. So we begin with the core. All right, sir, Sir Verbado, please type in the place you're coming from. Blended learning, and then plus the place where you're coming from. Type in. Sanchez Mira is too small. What is the province? Cagayan Valley, Philippines. Okay, because there may be another Cagayan Valley elsewhere. So according to our data, there are 333 studies already on blended learning in Cagayan Valley. So when you do a study on blended learning, you have to look at what have been studied in Cagayan Valley with respect to blended learning. Some actually are not blended learning, but only e-learning. So when you see that there are no studies on actually on blended learning, but any kind of learning, so that is good. There is a gap in the literature that in the place where you're coming from, Cagayan Valley, no one is studying blended learning. Okay. And then after that, remove the Cagayan Valley and then go to Philippines. Okay. And then we will see what else. Yun. That's it. So these are the studies. Now, blended learning, USA. Okay, USA. Because you are based in USA, so your studies should come from the USA. Alangan naman na your respondents will come from the Philippines when you are there. So you make use of the schools there, the district there. All right. And then these are the 173,000 coming from the USA. So the question is, how am I going to narrow down to the best sources the world can give? So blended learning USA plus, please put in plus the sign. Okay. Plus the sign of plus. Okay, so all right. So blended learning USA Scopus. Please put in Scopus. When you put in the word Scopus, what the from 73,000, it's only 16,900. You are telling that you are restricting the search to only include the world's best sources. And the world's best sources on blended learning is coming from Scopus. And so these are from Science Direct. And so you get these sources. All right. The other one is Clarivate Analytics. Please write the word Scopus and then Clarivate Analytics. Clarivate. No. Clarivate Analytics. You're right. This is another website. Okay. This is the ISI, the Institute of Scientific Information. So all of these sources, Clarivate Analytics is based in the US. This has better quality than Scopus, but the largest database in the world is coming from Scopus. Scopus comes from Europe. All right, so these are the things that you're going to do. Okay, now, can you remove the USA and then Clarivate Analytics, remove that, no? Leave only the blended learning. Okay, now, blended learning. Okay, in the new normal, because that is the environment now. Okay, and then plus, okay, problems of teachers. Yun. So search. So here, blended learning, the new normal and emerging technologies. So these are the articles that will tell you about the problems experienced by teachers in the new normal for blended learning. All right. Okay, next. All right. So blended learning in the new normal, instead of problems of teachers, okay, you say problems of students. Because it's not only the teachers who are having problems, and then search. Okay, so these are the problems of students. And then after that, the next one is that blended learning and then new normal. All right. And then best practices. What can we do best for blended learning? So these are the best practices. All right. Now, if you decide to do a blended learning study, then you must need to explore what are the methods. So blended learning in the new normal, remove the best practices, and then say qualitative method. So by typing in the type of method, all of these are qualitative. Okay. All right. You can even narrow into a particular type of qualitative method, which is, okay, qualitative method and then phenomenology. You include phenomenology in the search. All right, search. And so all of these are phenomenology. Now, I want you to identify that in the world today, the current practice is the method is built into the title of the study. A phenomenology, a phenomenology. Yeah. See? Okay. All right. What about if it's going to be descriptive survey? So please remove the quantitative. lagyan mo siya ng descriptive survey. So if you want to do a descriptive survey of blended learning, we will see all of these are surveys, right? Okay. What about if you want to do an experiment? So blended learning in the new normal experimental design. And so when you look at the different experiments here on blended learning, you will see, so these are the experiments. So you read the experiments. Oh, I think this is the one that I want. All right. And then after that, okay, then you would say, for example, na quantitative method. So I want to see blended learning from the quantitative method. So all of those that will be given to you are quantitative, quanti. So you just have to read them. Okay. Now, if you are using very specific statistics, okay, for example, you remove the quantitative method and then you put in there correlational study. So all of these are using correlations, the ones that you are going to see. And then ANOVA. Okay. ANOVA is only one N. Okay. All right. So studies of blended learning in the new normal using ANOVA, this is the one. Okay. What about the regression analysis? Regression analysis. Okay. All right. And so search. So these are the studies using regression analysis. And then another one, structural equation modeling. Structural equation modeling. Okay, and then search. So all of these are the structural equation model of blended learning culture in the classroom. These are the types of titles that are intended for graduate education, master's or PhD, when you go into a structural equation model like that. What about if you're going to use mixed methods? Mixed methods. Yeah, and search. So these are the mixed method study. Now, we can go into specific of mixed methods. Example, sequential explanatory. Sequential explanatory. Okay. Okay, search. Okay. All right, that's the one. All of these are sequential explanatory, right? Another one is sequential exploratory. Exploratory. Okay, search. These are examples of mixed methods using sequential exploratory. And the last is convergent parallel. The third type of mixed methods that is called convergent parallel. Okay, so if you want to go into mixed methods, you try to read convergent parallel, or you read also about exploratory and then explanatory, and then you choose which of these three. All right, that is it. So we were not trained this way. We were only trained that when you want to go into blended learning, just type in blended learning and then everything comes out as blended learning. So where do you start? Now, when you type a particular topic, see to it that there is a method that accompanies, so that you will know that these are samples of results of mixed methods, samples of results of quali. So you need to do a restriction to include the topic plus the method. That's how important this is. Okay. What about theory construction? Theory generation. Blended learning, and then remove that. Because in the PhD thesis is supposed to generate theory. So we will see theory generation. Search. So these are examples of blended learning studies that created theories. So if you are a master's and PhD student, you try to read, this is the way to do. All right? Okay. So that's the point that I would like to raise in here. Okay. Now, I would like you to open a new tab, and I will bring you to another website. Okay, open a new tab. And then we go to another website, and the website is called Philippine Electronic Journals. Journal. Okay, so you click that because you need to do a collection of Philippine studies if you come from the Philippines. Okay, once you click the Philippine e-journals, please click it. Ayaw?
Mabagal, sir.
Mabagal. Okay. Now, the Philippine Electronic Journals is a collection of 200 plus journal titles in the Philippines. So I would like you to take a look whether indeed your journal of CSU is found in the electronic journals collections of the Philippines. Okay. And then same blended learning. And then you try to see who are coming from the Philippines who are doing studies on blended learning. All right. That is the Philippine Electronic Journals. So I'll stop sharing for a moment, and then I'd like to get a few reactions from our team. Okay. What is your comment about this? Did you learn something new? Who would like to raise a hand so that we can ask you to talk? Okay. So Sir Verbado, I need some people to give comments about how they found, whether they found useful those techniques for Google Scholar selections. Can you just click the raise hand button? Okay, so Ma'am Grace Mary Lumbao, what can you say?
Yes, Dr. Japos, thank you so much. This is awesome.
Oh, thank you.
You know, we in a matter of just a short amount of time, like 3 hours, 4 hours, you're giving us what we really need. First, with the standards that you have shown us, what are the standards that we should be looking for to, you know, in working on our research. Now you are giving us the tools, great tools that would really equip us in a way that it would be efficient. We would not be wasting time. It would be very efficient because you've really shown us what we really need, you know, for, you know, specifically searching those stuff that we did not know before. And so we are very, very thankful for your generosity.
Yay! I love you, Mama Mary Grace, for saying that. Thank you so much.
You know, with a big heart.
You made my day. You made me feel like I am blooming like a rose today. Thank you so much. Another guapo, Sir Alan Lizardo. Yes po.
Good morning. Good morning, Doc
Yes
Haposi.
po.
Good morning. First of all, we would like to say thank you. Thank you very much for this very wonderful opportunity for sharing your expertise and knowledge to us. I do really have actually a bit knowledge about you know, searching Google Scholars, but I have a question, Doc. Okay. Yes. How is there an easier way that you can determine whether the article or the journal is an open access journal, or how can we get like a complementary access to the journals? Because I know that some of the articles or journals are for, you know, for it's either you have to purchase or you have to create a like an account, a specific journal. So is there an easier way to tell whether it's an open access one?
Okay.
Or
The easiest way is to click, and then when it opens, and then it gives you the PDF of the entire thing that is open access. But if it tells you that you need to consult your librarian whether the library has a collection, so you reach a dead end, you will only reach the title, the author, and the abstract. So meaning you cannot get the entire body. So once you reach that point, then I will give you another technique. You look for the DOI, the digital object identifier, which is actually a string of numbers. And then you copy that, and then you open a new tab, you go to Sci-Hub. Once you reach Sci-Hub, you paste it there, and then you click. So I'll give you a demo right after. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ma'am Francesca Alconis. Yes, ma'am. Hi. It's actually I can't hear you because you are muted. Okay.
Okay, Doc. Ayun po. So Doc, I think my comment is that this presentation should be provided to new researchers like us, especially yung kaming mga nagdo-doctorate, kasi it was really informative. Like kung titignan mo po, Doc, yung mga nag-respond sa inyo, the only one word is awesome. And if I can suggest for para maganda yung maging title nyo next time, it should be Research Smarter, Not Harder.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so I would like to do a demo, for example. So can we get back to Google Scholar? All right, and then plus Scopus, blended learning, and then Scopus. All right, and so we put in there 2020. You can even put in there 2021. All right, search. Okay, so this is coming from Scopus. Can you click this first article? Yeah, so this is it. And you cannot access this one. Can you scroll down? All right. So this one is in a different language. So maybe we are going to look for another one. Okay, can you, because it's for a foreign, this is the one. Okay, so we will look for the digital object identifier, the DOI. It is down here. Okay, you cannot get this because you're going to pay $45. Purchase PDF. So you please copy the DOI. Copy. Okay, and then open a new tab. Open a new tab. And then SCI-HUB. Okay, then search. ACI.SUB. All right. So it's there already. And then if you scroll down, that is the full paper. Okay, so thank you. So you can just open the paper immediately. You will just go to, please write this, SCI-HUB period SE. Okay, that is the one. So you are able to save yourself $45 and you're able to access this. So who was the one who asked me that question a while ago?
Mido.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
So now do you know how to get it even if it is for sale?
Yes, no.
I
I always go for a 3-1, but now I know how to get the other way.
So everybody, please take a snapshot of Sci-Hub. Get a picture so that you will not forget this one. And then you will just click the key. And once you click the key, so that's it. So it rolls down. All right. That's the one. Okay. So can you open a new tab again? And then search for Creswell Research Design. And then PDF. Okay. And then search. All right. This is the PDF down below. Yun. Can you open that? Oh, no. Pwede na yan. Pareho lang siya. And so this is an expensive book but available online. All right. So, sir, you can just put that in the chat box so that they will be able to get that. And here, there is a chapter on mixed methods. Because when you are a student, you should have a Bible for your methodology. And this is the best. Whether you do an experiment, you do a quali, you do a survey, you do a mixed methods, all are there. Okay. So you just type in Creswell and then research designs, PDF, and then you search the web, you get it right. I love you. I love you, Sir Verbado. Okay, sige. Nandito na on. Let's na tayo. And then open a new tab again. And then search tayo. Okay, blended learning. Okay, new normal. Okay, thesis. Then search. PDF. Okay, lagyan mo ng PDF. Okay. So, maghanap tayo ng mga PDF dito. Okay. These are the thesis. And so, when, can you click on this one? But that is an article, it's not a thesis. Okay. Hanap tayo ng thesis. Thesis. Oh, ito. Parang malaman natin dahil repository siya. Before that. Sige, paitaas muna. Oh, library. The impact of blended learning. Yan. That's an example of a thesis. And then read a thesis. Okay. And then the more you will understand. Why? Please listen to me now. Okay. Your first step when you want to know how to write research, get a book on methodology. That's Creswell. Second step is that when you decide for a method, you also need to look for a thesis. Okay. So you have to know what is your topic? Blended learning. Thesis of blended learning. Okay, fine. But then, okay, pwede natin i-back. Okay. And then search terms, tetas. Blended learning, new normal, thesis. Dadagan pa natin ng mixed methods. So not just any thesis, you look for a thesis that is mixed methods. And so you will be able to teaching mixed methods through blended learning. This is nice, right? Okay, that's the one. So we will no longer open that. Okay, so this is how important this is. Okay, thank you so much for that one. So the best source for method and questionnaire is the thesis because it's one whole chapter. But the best source for results and conclusions, that is a scientific article. Okay. Now, Server Badu, I sent you a file on anatomy. Anatomy. So, anatomy of a publishable paper. Okay. Please show that on screen. Oh, yun. Anatomy of well-written publishable papers. All right. So, very quickly, I'm going to show this to you before my time is up. Okay. How to write a publishable paper. Okay, next slide. Title. The title of the study is different from the title of the title of the publication normally should be different from the title of the thesis. Because the title of a thesis is titled by scope. Remember, the title is being made before you conducted a study. Okay. Now, after you conducted a study, the most important result becomes the title of the study. All right, next slide. Okay. Abstract serves as the face value or the selling point of an article, usually up to 200 words. Okay, next slide. Next, please. Introduction, of course, it is providing you a context and a background, and it leads the reader to your hypothesis. It leads you to your questions and the design. All right, next, please. Now, I would like to introduce to you the concept of layers. Okay, begin with a global perspective. For example, 1 out of 10 teachers die from COVID. Then parenthesis, the World Health Organization. Oh my God, so many are dying from COVID. So that gives you already the, the importance of your topic, which is about COVID and how it afflicts the education sector. After that, regional meaning the US, if you come from the US, or Asia, if you come from the Philippines, or sub-regional, which is Southeast Asia. What is the Southeast Asian perspective to COVID in education? Yun. Local perspective, the Philippines and the place where you come from. Then after that, you look at the gap in the literature, the differentness of the study from the other previous studies, and the reasons of the writer for choosing the problem. Next, please. Okay. Of course, the framework is optional. Some other experimental designs do not require for a framework. So it all depends on the style of the institution. Next, please. All right. Objectives of the study should show what the researcher shall do with the data and not words to indicate what the researcher intends to do as a research process. Ibig sabihin, it is not good to have as an objective to evaluate, to assess, to measure, because these are activities of research. Rather, we say, what is the profile of the respondent? Your objective there is to describe, okay, the profile of respondents. Or if your objective is there a significant difference, and then that's the question. Your objective is, of course, to compare. No? Is there a significant relationship? Your objective is to relate. Okay, that's it. Next slide. Methodology. The title of the method is Materials and Methods for Experimental Designs. Okay. And methodology only for non-experimental designs. All right. Next, please. Pure sciences, these are it. You need to do an explanation of the research site plus the participants, and then your instrument, how they were constructed, they were tried out, reliability and validity, and that they were published. And the ethics protocol, you need to do informed consent. In the SMCC research policy, all the forms that you need, all the the informed consent that you need, all of those are found in that policy. I want you to get that policy because it's your Bible. You can get a lot of information there. Ethics review, board clearance, gratuitous permit if your study is about flora and fauna, and then permit from the head of indigenous people. Okay, next slide. Social sciences, research site, instrumentation, ethics protocol, similar. Next. In the results and discussion, we answer the objectives, and then we highlight the salient findings of the study. Okay. All right. And then results and discussion, the intercontinental literature support, the critique of the methods, and the theories used in the last paragraph. Next slide. Conclusions, you highlight the new discovery. Actually, we were not taught right, because what we were taught to us is that for every problem, there is a conclusion. 10 problems, 10 conclusions. That is not right. You only conclude because you have hypotheses, and the answer to your hypothesis constitutes your conclusions of the study. All right? Yun. So you highlight new discovery, if any, that you obtain only after completing the study, something not yet found in the literature, because that is something new that you contribute to new knowledge. Next slide. It is not a repetition of the discussion, but judgments of the results obtained. Yes. Okay, next slide. Recommend only if your results of applications to the international community. Because if you're going to make a recommendation to the mayor of Vegan City, to the superintendent, for example, Cagayan Valley, and then your reader comes from Russia that doesn't anymore hold water. Next, please. Acknowledgements. Yan. Only the funders of the research. Do not include God and then family, because only those have direct contribution to the study. Okay. All right. Next, please. Ayan. Next. Okay. Literature cited, prefer references that already earned citations. References should be traceable online from peer-reviewed index journals of reputable databases. I will show you a very quick way later on to determine whether the journal is very good. Okay, yes. And I will show you today what are the top journals of the world for your field. Okay, very good. Okay, thank you. So we stop sharing here, and then please bring me to Google for the last part of the workshop. Okay, we now go to Google. Okay, and then search tayo. Okay, what is your degree? So how can you find a journal of your choice? One way to find a journal is through the method. For example, International Journal of Mixed Methods. Of mixed methods. Okay, search. So, Journal of Mixed Methods. Okay, so there is really a Journal of Mixed Methods. So you click that, and then you go to the website, and then you look for the guide for authors here. All right. Meron tayong guide for authors. Okay. So there are many things, journal description, yan, submission guidelines, yon. So you study the submission guidelines. But this is a second step that after you identify the title, you have to look for a journal. Even if you may not be accepted later on, but at the moment that you started your study, beginning from the title, you already choose to be in this journal of mixed methods. Okay, another one, okay, International Journal of Qualitative Research. Qualitative research. Yun. And then we will see. There are really journals for qualitative studies. If you do your quali and then you go there. Okay, next. International Journal of Experimental Designs. There are really journals about experimental designs. Okay, so these are the Journal of Experimental Design. If your study is an experiment, go to this journal. All right. Okay. So that's how nice it is. Okay. Another one. Okay. Please type in Saimago. Saimago. Journal rank in educational management, because that is your field. Okay. Okay, can you scroll down? More. Okay, this is the one, education. Can you click that? Okay. So in the field of education, the number one, okay, can we go to the number? Okay. Paki-click doon sa upper right, doon po sa before. Okay. Where are we now? Can you scroll down? Okay. Ito ba, no. Sir, di ba may caret na parang ganyan. Okay, pwede mo siyang i-back. Okay. Paki-open na nga yan. And then sa right side, meron tayong forward and back. Can you find it? Forward, yeah. Yung back. So that I want to show you your journal number 1. Sa itaas pa. Okay, stop. Down a little bit. Down, madulas. Okay. Di ba na-download data? Then sa baba, i-click mo yung left side. Okay. Okay, 1 to 50. So the best journal for education in the world is the Review of Educational Research from the US. So if you're going to look at the flags of the top 10 journals of the world, Okay, can you scroll down the top 10 journals? All of them are in the US, right? Okay. Except one in UK, Britain. All right. So what I want you to do para hindi ka maging ignorante is that since your field is education, dito ka nagbabasa. Please read these journals, the best of its kind. And then you read the abstract, you read the full papers, even if you don't understand them in a way. Because I want you to be familiar and to be comfortable with the environment for scientific research. And then you derive your possible title from any of those that you like. And then meaning you benchmark the title of your dissertation or thesis from any of the journals that top in the world. So if I will ask you this question, where did you find the title, your dissertation topic? You know, I benchmark it. I was inspired by a journal number 3 in the world. Okay. So this is the point. If you don't know this, even if you have 10 PhDs, you are still considered illiterate. Okay, why? Because you do not know the top journals of the world for your field. And then you can even say top journals in education for Asia, the best journal for Scopus, for example, in Malaysia. Just type in list of Scopus journals education and then Malaysia. Then you'll be able to find them. But I want you to read this type of articles because this is the world's best. Diba? For those of you who know what is Dimash, Dimash, is a great singer. And then a soprano, a tenor at the same time, lalaki siya from Kazakhstan. And then when you listen to him every day, then you become so familiar, so that it's very easy to take in Dimash when you are familiar with his music. The same is true here. Okay, I have shown you the top journals of the world. Open a new tab. Okay, and then search here, journal for blended learning. Who knows that there is even a journal for blended learning? We will see. We will see if there is a journal for blended learning. Okay, imagine. So these are the journals that contain blended learning. See? So there are really journals specific for a particular content. Okay, all right. So can we stop sharing? And then I'd like to get some comments. Okay, I would like to return the floor to Server Badu. All right, and maybe if you can hear about one or two remarks about how the day was before we end. I'm done with my presentation. I'd like to hear from the others who have not spoken about one or two. Your comments of the day session.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, Bob.
Those who want to share their comments, kindly raise your hands through the icon in the Zoom.
Yeah, dito na. Joy Calub. Yes.
Oh, sir, thank you so much. I learned a lot from you today. So, tanong ko lang, sir, di nyo na-mention ng Eric. Diba? Okay rin po siyang site.
Yes. Yun ang una ng buong mundo. That's the first online journal. Yung
Okay.
Eric. 1980s pa, nandiyan na siya.
Yeah, I used it. At saka, I do believe na lahat ng sinabi niyo sa aming sites na puntahan, mga research and all journals, ay mga peer-reviewed. Ano po? So, talagang it's important that we use peer-reviewed in our dissertation.
Yes.
Sir.
They must come from the world's top sources.
Yeah.
Because the quality of your dissertation begins with the quality of your references.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Who else? Cherry Amata. Yes, ma'am. What can you say?
Hi. Oh my
Nag-enjoy ka
goodness.
ba?
I love everything. Everything
I love you
that
too.
you have presented. Everything about you, I love it. If there is a master of research, it should be you.
Thank you.
I'm a fan, okay? And I would like to know if you are accepting private consultation.
Oh, wala naman problema doon. As a matter of fact, I receive all kinds of queries from around the world, and then I gave it to them. Then they do not pay. Because when you are only asked, then you should answer so that you can help other people. Hindi maganda yung bawat galaw bayad, bawat bayad. Iba ka makubid pa ako. Okay, thank you so much.
You're such a humble human being. Thank you. I
po.
with that.
Okay. What about Dolores Cruz? You also raise your hand. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Dr. Hapos, thank you very much. And I like it when you say you are no longer ignorant. Today, yes, we are no longer ignorant of the research techniques and methods. And I would just like to ask, who are you? Where are you from? We learned a lot in such a short time. You opened our eyes to how much we do not know about research, about the proper way to research, the techniques. Is awesome. So thank you very much.
Okay, salamat po. Okay, so Sir Berbado, please proceed to the closing rights. Okay, so that we can end the program.
Thank you, Sir Jean. We spotlight to Dr. Alan de la Cruz, our MC for.
Okay, I told you, hindi po nasayang ang ating 3 hours with our source speaker. Hindi tayo inantok at hindi rin tayo ginutom. Honestly, Sir Jean, we love listening to your narratives and for sharing your vast knowledge along research. We learned a lot. You navigated us to the research flow towards publication. You taught us the importance of training our students to be content creator of knowledge and not merely consumers of knowledge. You also presented us the instrument, the rating instrument, which guides the researcher and the advisor. You also navigated us to a well-written publication paper. You also taught us how to find books to read through Library Genesis, exploring the Google Scholar, exploring the Philippine Electronic Journal, the Sci-Hub, and finally, you taught us how to find a journal or how to find a journal of our choice. With this, we would like to present this certificate of appreciation. Kindly share the certificate server. The certificate of appreciation to our resource speaker. May I read the contents? The Association of International Dynamic Educators Incorporated, in coordination with the Cagayan State University Sanchez Mira campus, awards this certificate of appreciation to Dr. GENARO V. JAPOS, Social Science Research Specialist, the founder of International Association of Multidisciplinary Research, founder of Philippine Association of Institutions for Research Incorporated, for his invaluable contribution as resource speaker. The theme, Reframing Thesis and Dissertation, Turning into a Publication, a Systematic Approach, during the training workshop on translating academic writings into publishable journal articles, held on 26th of September 2021. Signed, Lynn A. Shocon, the Chief Executive and founder of AID Incorporated. Signed, Narcitas B. Owano, PhD, CEO of CSU Sanchez Mira Campus and Executive Vice President for Professional Development, AID Incorporated. Sir?
Deep in my heart, as a Filipino scientist, I am very grateful for this opportunity that you allowed me to enter into your hearts, and that today I have embraced you also into my heart. Salamat po. I'm deeply grateful.
We hope to have more encounters with you, sir. But before we end, we just would like to read some of the comments in our chat box. We have here from Ma'am Sonia. Your presentation, Dr. JAPOS, is the best that I participate. It is very informative. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us. Sabi din ni Ma'am Alma Ana Alcoriza, thank you so much for your very informative presentation, Dr. JAPOS. Thanks to the organizers as well. Sabi ni Ma'am Olga, wow, as in wow, I love it. Sabi niya, according to Sir John Francis, sabi din niya, indeed, a perfect workshop. Thank you, Dr. JAPOS, and to the organizers. Outstanding speakers, sabi naman ni Ma'am Cherry. Ma'am Cherry. Okay. Thank you so much. Best workshop ever. Thank you po, Dr. JAPOS, the best. Okay, so with this, I would like to end by quoting Dr. Safari Wa Mabaleka, one of the advisory boards, members of the advisory board of the AID, who once said, it's either you publish or you perish. This has been your host, Alan O. De La Cruz, saying thank you and good day or good night sa ating lahat o baka good morning na rin dyan sa USA. Mabuhay po tayong lahat.